All right, good evening. Welcome. Welcome to the Board of Trustees regular meeting for April 17th, 2023. Announcement. All open sessions of the Board of Trustees are recorded and streamed in real time at fuhsd.net. Call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. We're at the Bob Burton Performing Arts Center, Fallbrook Union High School, 2400 South Stagecoach Lane, Fallbrook, California, 92028. Okay, so we need an adjustment on the check here. All right. Can you hear in the back? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I see a thumbs up. Okay. Booth, we're good?
The speakers out here for the band.
Okay. Mr. Gray, do I need to repeat any of that or are we good? Good. All right, thank you. All right, we'll start with the flag salute. If you could stand, join me in that, please. All right, thank you. Roll call. Board of Trustees, Eddie Jones, President. I am here. Oscar Carlampio, Vice President.
Present.
Thank you. Paul Christensen, Clerk.
Present.
Thank you. Trustee Area 1 is vacant and Trustee Area 2 is vacant. Student Representatives, Esperanza Bowen.
Absent.
Absent, thank you. And Milani Thomas.
Here.
Here, thank you. And our Superintendent, Ilza Garza Gonzalez.
Present.
Thank you. Informal review of the governing team's norms. The Board of Trustees approved norms are that we be respectful, be approachable, be open-minded, be communicative with no surprises, be willing to listen, be prepared, and be trustworthy. First is going to be to adopt the agenda. This is an action item. Do I have a motion, please?
A motion to adopt the agenda for the regular board meeting of April 17th. I second.
All right. Motion by Mr. Christensen, second by Ms. Carlampio. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, call for the vote. Ms. Bowen is absent. Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Carlampio?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 2 and Area 1 are both vacant. First up is going to be recognitions. Ms. Garza Gonzalez?
Yes, I'd like to invite Mr. Michael Gray, principal of Ivy High School, up to the microphone to tell us a little bit about Women Wonder Riders and recognize them. We can move you towards.
You want me to?
We can move you to the end of the recognitions. Next, I'd like to invite Chief Warrant Officer Thomas Smith, who is going to tell us about one of our ROTC students and the wonderful national recognition that she recently received.
Good evening. So this scholarship, what an opportunity. So the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy all offer ROTC scholarships. They can range anywhere from 3 years of tuition to 4 years of tuition. They can include just tuition, or they can be full room and board with tuition. The uniqueness with this is a Navy ROTC scholarship with a Marine Corps option. So she actually chose with a pursuit to become a commissioned officer in the United States Marine Corps. And it is a full 4 years. So she's getting room and board with this particular thing. I will let her share what college or university she chose to attend and what she plans on studying. But yes, this is a highly competitive type of thing that requires, a GPA requirements. There's SAT still requirements with that, and there's a physical component. And beyond that, there's also an interview process so that when you're applying for this, they want to make sure these prospective commissioned officers actually have that, what should I say, the wherewithal that they actually understand that they want to serve as an officer in our armed services. So she obviously met that mark, and without any further ado, Alyssa Wilson.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Some things that I have done, as stated by Chief Warrant Officer, I've taken the PSATs, the SATs, so studying very rigorously, also keeping my grades up, and then for the interview part, running 3 miles for PFT, being able to hold planks and push-ups and or pull-ups. Also, for the for the interview process, I was interviewed by 2 captains. From there, I was asked certain questions about what my goals were and aspirations for the scholarship.
Where are you going?
I am going to Texas A&M.
And I believe I see your family in the audience. If you could please stand. Congratulations, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, one of you, that there's only 12 such scholarships awarded nationwide?
No, there's a little bit more than that. They run into the thousands. I looked up some data. Last year, the Army gave out 3,000 of those scholarships, but there's still a small percentage compared to the thousands of students who actually apply. It's still a highly sought out. This, 12 years of doing this, this is only my 6th recipient of an ROTC scholarship. And I know over that years, I've had over double those numbers actually apply. So it is a very difficult thing to receive. Because just to meet the mark in itself is somewhat difficult. That rigor of not just doing the GPA as was mentioned there, but also having the physical piece behind it. On top of that, still doing SATs, because at this time they still require that, or at least the ACT, because they want to see that academic potential. Yes.
Wonderful, thank you, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Gray, are you ready? Okay, Mr. Gray, if you could recognize Women Wonder Riders.
Yeah, this is Jeffrey Kidd. He's the executive director of Women Wonder Riders. It's our program that we do every Friday. And they just do a wonderful job with our young ladies. Right, Melani? Oh, yeah, you're hiding over there. It's open to young men, both sides, if they would like to be involved in that. He's got some books and some anthologies that I'm going to have Melani. If you'll come down and take these and give them all to the board members for me real quick. We're appreciative of what they're doing at our school. It's just so very helpful on the social emotional learning side of what our students are provided at Ivy, and he and his staff have just been very hands-on, and we appreciate all that they're doing. But I want to give him the floor to talk a little bit more. But thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So these anthologies contain a snapshot of the work that the students at Ivy High School have been doing in our class. We really believe that every student, even if they aren't performing the best, still has the potential to meet academically, for productivity in their lives with themselves and their family. And we do this by trying to instill critical literacy and self-reflection in which the skills are transferable not just in the classroom, but in other aspects of their life as well. And that's what we try and do with each of the students through the social emotional projects that you can see in their anthologies. There's different art types. There's cultural, poetic, literary, and visual writing art types in there. And that's what the instructors work with on them through, usually it's about a 12-week curriculum. in a 12-week program, and so they go through a different set each 12 weeks and trying to achieve their different learning goals.
Mr. Gray, and how long have you had with the Women Wonder Writers program
Well,
at your site?
I've been at Ivy for 4 years. And if I remember right, I think we got them there the second semester of my first year. No? Yes,
Yep,
yes.
it's about been 3 and a partial.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah. I was very concerned that we had a program for our young men and didn't have a program for our young women, and so Mrs. Garza Gonzalez and I, especially her, said, take a look at this group, and it has just been a wonderful match for us, and we really appreciate it. Part of that 12-week course, the component to taking that course is part of the community service hours that they can receive towards graduation by attending that every Friday for 1 hour. It gives them 1 hour towards their community service hours. Melanie, did it help you? Huh? You already done with yours? Okay, la-di-da, yeah. Good for you, Melanie. She's been great. Do you have any other questions at all?
I just want to say thank you for this program. I actually have 2 cousins who were part of it a couple years ago, and they shared really great things about it. So seeing it now, but also, having relatives who were part of Women Wonder Writers and hearing their testimony of its effectiveness is really great. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been wonderful to work with them, and we love that every term all the students come back and do it again. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now I'd like to invite our band director, Derek Lee, to tell us a little bit about his program this year, and then we're going to have a performance by our drumline.
Yeah, don't mind all the rustling and sounds like that. So we have couple exciting things that happen every spring semester. We do what's called Winter Drumline and Winter Color Guard. We go out competing. It's kind of like the marching season, but now we separate the both groups, and they compete on the state level through WGSC, which is our organization here in Southern California. Our drumline this past weekend went to semifinals and qualified for finals this weekend up at Cal State Fullerton, and they will be going up on the 29th. And then Color Guard is going out this weekend, and they're doing their semifinals in the morning at Marina High School and then finals at Cal State Long Beach. So it's going to be a crazy long day. One thing that's really, really great about this program here is that a lot of our kids actually tend to go on after high school to go on to do this thing, but at the professional level. We have kids off with professional drum corps, which is essentially marching band on steroids, and then they go out and they compete nationally. We had a student this past weekend, an alumni. Her name is Alexis Rivera. She was in ROTC last year. She graduated. She was a captain in ROTC. She was a captain with us. She just performed at WGI, which is Winter Guard International, which is an international competitive color guard circuit, and they compete. And her team won, gold medals for her team. So, which is a really, really cool thing because it's her first season out with a professional color guard, and she's representing Fallbrook, along with a few of our seniors this year, as well as alumni from last year are going to be joining other professional groups this coming year. So, but we do have our kids here today who are going to be performing for you guys, as well as a video of the color guard immediately afterwards, so that way you guys can kind of see what they do. We can't really do color guard things in here because we'll knock out lights and hopefully not people, but we'll knock you guys out with the amount of sound coming to you guys right now. So.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered a weekend weary over many acquainted cures fallen of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, ever so much rapping in my chamber.
And then,
Mr. Lee? Before moving on to the video, if the board would like to step down to watch the video from the seats instead of on the little television, that would be fine because our next recognition is followed by a video as well.
and then, yeah, don't mind the noise because they're going to be going straight out to practice after this, so.
On your way, and don't ever look back to check it. I'm okay, and don't ever be sad that you chose him instead. Cause I don't hold regrets, and I'd rather be rid of it. And when you want someone who'll care, who will know how you feel when you don't wanna share, who will show you support when you've lost your meaning. Just remember this time when you chose not to be with me. And I tried to defend how I thought we would play out. I came and confessed that I love you more than he does. So choose me instead. Oh, choose me instead. 'Cause he's not good enough for you. He's not good enough for you. He won't do the things that I would do. He's not good enough for you. He's not good enough to be even half the man that he should be. And I watched you choose him instead of me. I watched you choose him instead of me. Go, I don't care, but don't ever pretend that we're both unaware. Cause the truth is that you still permit me to be close enough that I know that you don't want me to leave. And then I remember he's there, and he's been there for years at your side like a snake. And when I see you with him in your eyes, there's a pain, and it traps you inside like you can't get away. And I thought we would play out. I came and confessed that I love you more than he does. Choose me instead. Whoa, choose me instead. He's not good enough for you. He won't do the things that I would do. He's not good enough for you. He's not good enough to be even half as good as he should be. And I watch you choose him instead of me. Watch you choose him instead of me. He's not good enough. He's not good enough for you. He's not good enough for you. He's not good enough for you. And I tried to defend how I thought we would. choose him instead of me.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Lee or comments from our board?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Mr. George Herring and Ms. Cheryl Stark to the podium to tell us a little bit about a wonderful program that we have on our campus, Warrior Buddies. Ms. Stark was recognized last week by Fallbrook Rotary as Employee of the Month for Fallbrook Union High School District. And Mr. Herring is here because his film students put together a wonderful video, and we'd like to recognize the creator of that video and again learn a little bit more about both programs.
So do you just want me to tell about Warrior Buddies first?
Whichever you would like to do first.
So I've been teaching for 26, 27 years, and in the 90s when I first started teaching, I inherited a peer buddy program in San Diego. And so when I went to the next school, I started it, and so obviously when I came here, I asked Lauren Jones pretty much 2 weeks into starting here if I could start the program, and we talked about it, and we talked about having some Ivy students when they were coming over, if we could do the program, and there's an application that students have to fill out, and it's for the typical kids in the general ed population to be Warrior Buddies, come in the classroom and help our students with whatever they're doing throughout their day. Each of our students has their own individualized schedule that they do, and so each period looks very different. Each set of Warrior Buddies from first period, second period, they all do something completely different with our students. And very naturally, students kind of will go to one another, and they as you'll see with Lupita and Mia, they become friends, and that's all on their own. It's nothing that I've really done to create that situation. So every single period we have about 4 Warrior Buddies for our class. We have 11 students, but sometimes my students go out into general classes as well, and some of the Warrior Buddies will go out to art and ASL with our students. And it's just, the relationship is very natural. The assistance, having a peer help you versus an adult, is very natural for our students, and they seem to get a lot more out of their assistance from the Warrior Buddies than us. Mia came to us and asked if she could do a documentary on Lupita. We got it approved by Mom, and that's what you're gonna see. It's very natural, an amazing friendship. So I'll let George or Mia talk a little bit more.
Hi, everybody. My name's George. It's a great pleasure to be here tonight to talk about Warrior Buddies, Lupita, and our filmmaker, Mia. Mia Garland, I have so many honors this year for her, I had to bring a little list. So Mia's a first-year filmmaker. Her first film was a psychological thriller. She won Best Debut Filmmaker at a international film festival, and she was selected as a Best Student Film in a different film festival called the Cult Critic Movie Awards. And she's currently in competition at the First Time Filmmakers Liftoff Session, which is run through Pinewood Studios, which is where they make all the Harry Potter movies and James Bond and Star Wars. It's a very renowned studio. Her second film that she's ever made, Lupita, the first minute I put it in for festivals, she started winning the Robinson Film Awards. She's a finalist meaning she came in second place for Best Documentary Short in their main category, so she was up against adults for that one. The festival we aimed for, so in our class we look for some festival that speaks to a good theme. This particular festival in South Carolina, it's called the More Than Decent Film Festival. It's about how to treat people decently, and she's up for Best Student Film there. That will air in South Carolina on April 21st. And just as I was getting this list together, she got another hit at the ArcLight Student Film Festival. She's up for Best Student Documentary. That's in Illinois. And I should mention no other films we submitted were selected for that festival. So Mia wants to speak at the end of our film, but please, let's just enjoy Lupita. Yeah.
Ooh, we're spinning. Oh, here, right here.
And another like that.
Like this?
And sesame. And this one is like that. And let's do it at that tab. So, to make a copy, so over there, and put a one, and push stop.
Are you zooming it?
Hello. No, it's Jericho. That's me. My full name, Guadalupe.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go.
All right, Lupita. What is your favorite color?
My favorite color is pink.
Pink? Me too. If you could have a superpower, what would you want it to be?
My favorite is the sun.
What do you want to be when you're older?
Astronaut.
You're gonna be an astronaut?
Yeah.
What language do you like speaking better, English or Spanish?
I'm gonna be two because it's my favorite.
Them both, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're both good languages.
Pues me gustaría explicarles que el síndrome de Down no es una enfermedad. El síndrome de Down es una condición de vida. Me refiero a condición de vida que dependiendo de las necesidades de cada uno se adaptan para por ellos mismos salir adelante. No es una enfermedad porque ese tipo de ayuda, de adaptación, es lo que los hace diferentes, se podría decir, con un niño típico, regular, pero ellos pueden salir adelante. No es, como me refiero, me gustaría mucho dejar en claro que no es una enfermedad, porque ellos pueden salir adelante con mucho apoyo, con adaptaciones, y no hay límites para ellos. Como mamá de Lupita, pues ha sido un camino de aprendizaje. Aprendizaje desde que ella nació. Nació a las 27 semanas, muy chiquita. Entonces, digo de aprendizaje porque no sabíamos nada. Los doctores daban un diagnóstico malo, que no podía, por lo chiquita que estaba, sus pulmones no estaban bien desarrollados, su vista no nos aseguraban que pudiera ver, su corazón retrocedía sangre, por eso es que tuvieron que hacer la cesárea a las 27 semanas. Y pues todo era negativo, con respecto a los doctores, todo era negativo. De Lupita. Pues de ser mamá de Lupita, mi parte favorita es que nunca me aburro con ella. Tiene historias, cuenta lo que le pasa en el día, todos los días, habla mucho, tiene mucho que decir, tiene mucho que dar, es una niña muy linda, nunca te aburres con ella. Entonces, mi parte favorita es siempre estar con ella, escucharla, y la manera que es, ella es muy linda.
I love that Lupita is so funny and she's always in a good mood and she has an amazing personality.
She's always respectful and kind and she's always standing up for me.
I love Lupita's kind heart and her amazing and interesting stories. She always comes in with a smile. She's such a great kid to be around.
Lupita is kind and I absolutely love her voice.
Is so genuine and she's very kind and she loves to learn, and that makes it fun for us to teach her because she just wants to absorb everything and she just wants to learn as much as she can, and she just makes everyone smile.
He's my favorite. I always had a crush on him too. But just don't tell anybody.
Hi everybody, my name's Mia. I just wanted to take a short moment of your time and thank everyone for making this video possible. Thank you, Mr. Herring, for all of your guidance, and thank you, Ms. Stark, for your endless enthusiasm. Gracias a la familia Zuniga por su apoyo y gracias a la señora Zuniga por ser parte de nuestra película. Ready?
Yes.
Y finalmente, gracias a Lupita. Muchas gracias por ser tú, la más feliz y amable persona que conocemos. When I first joined Warrior Buddies, I thought the biggest thing I was going to learn was patience. But it's been so much more than that. I've made so many new friends. Lupita, the best of the best. But I've made so many new friends, and it's made such an impact on the kids' lives as they have made an impact on mine. Every day I get to spend time with amazing kids who know how to put a smile on your face. Warrior Buddies is an amazing program that I hope many other students get to experience one day. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you all enjoyed the film. Do you want to say anything beautiful?
Thanks everybody for my students, and I feel kind for Mia, and she's cute or my heart. And sometimes I work, it's like I work a little bit. I love attack somebody, but Mia is very cute, and Henry, Eva, and Sophia too is a good teacher. Every times. And sometimes I work in sign language, Excel, and the first person and the person I'm really lucky, never seen a little. I went to the Fallbrook High School, and I like to work there. And another went to the Alice too. I really like it and her world and not her brother. And because I love her brother because and I love a person in my whole world.
Do you want to tell your mom thank you for being in the video? And
Yeah.
Too?
Thanks to my mom for being in the video and Mr. too, and Sophia too, and for and what's it called again?
Whatever you want to say. Do you want to say thank you to your family for being here?
Thanks for my family and entertainment and a place for the two because I'm a good child and because I know it. I like to speak a better Spanish and entertainment for Mia. She's my close friend and because she's cute child everything because everything Mia in the person. And Eva too, I went to the Yoga Palace. It is Fallbrook too. Everybody, yes.
Good job, Lupita. High five. You ready?
Thank you, everybody. Lupita and Mia, if you could just wait 1 second. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. Lupita, gracias por estar con nosotros esta noche. A la familia Zúñiga, muchas gracias por compartir a su hija con nosotros. Se los agradecemos mucho. I am thanking the Zúñiga family for sharing their daughter with us. It is a huge blessing. Board members, I don't know if you have any questions for Lupita and or Mia or comments.
Incredible. Great job. Very good. Very good.
Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for documenting it so well. Thank you very much.
Le quiero dar gracias a la familia por ponerse en una posición vulnerable con nosotros, compartir su historia. Mamá, le apreciamos mucho todo el trabajo que ha hecho. Tiene una hija hermosa y tiene una hija muy maravillosa, muy linda y muy inteligente. Gracias por dejar compartir su historia. Y Mía, gracias por documentar la historia de Lupita. Thank you.
And Mrs. Stark, thank you for Warrior Buddies. Thank you for everything you do on our campus, and the same for Mr. Herring. Thank you for your leadership. Board, if you'd like to join me back up on stage.
All right, thank you. Thank you again. Thank you for everybody for the presentations. We enjoyed them very much. Wonderful to hear. Okay, public comments. The Fallbrook Union High School District Board of Education encourages and invites the public to comment on agenda and non-agenda items. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Per legislation 1292, the board will give twice the allotted time to members of the public who utilize translation technology or assistance to address the board. Total public input on any one subject will be limited to 20 minutes and may be extended at the discretion of the board president. Comments on non-agenda items will be heard now at this time. Comments on agenda items may be taken at this time or when the agenda item is discussed by the board. Speakers will be called by the order of the topic and when their card was submitted. Do we have any public comment?
Yes, our first speaker is Leticia Stamos on Teatro en Español, our Spanish theater group.
Thank you, board and staff and participants. I just wanted to follow up on the presentation made by, I think it was Betsy Hall and Pauline Wilson last meeting regarding the Teatro group. My grandson grew up in Santa Maria, and when he was 12, he stayed with us for a few weeks here in Fallbrook during the summer, and we enrolled him in the Cast Theater Summer Camp. It was a godsend. He went back home and joined a school theater group. By the time he finished middle school, he had been in 4 school plays and 2 community plays. Like so many young people, he had trouble fitting in high school, but then he joined the theater group, and he found his tribe, he found his people. The theater group helped him find his voice, his own personality, and his talent. And I just wanted to thank you for providing the variety of vehicles for young people to grow, to gain confidence, to find themselves and be themselves and become assets to their community, especially second language learners. So I just wanted to give thanks to the staff in the school for that.
Thank you. Our second topic is Fallbrook a leer, Leticia Stamos.
Yes, thanks again. So this past Saturday, over 50 high school students descended on May Ellis Elementary School to put on the 19th annual Fallbrook a leer Reading Family Literacy Program for elementary school children and their parents. Since joining the student volunteer cadre about 16 years ago, the strength of the organizing and conducting of this event has hinged on the peerless efforts of the students coming from Fallbrook High School, Ivy, and Oasis. This year, the recruiting of students by student Jackie Albino and teacher Mary Begley is commendable, and so I come here tonight to publicly acknowledge their hard work over the years. Having Fallbrook High School members here, as well as our superintendent as a guest reader, was a huge boost to the parents in attendance. It shows the essential collaboration between the elementary school, the high school, and the community. We also had several parents whose children are now in high school serving as volunteer committee, and we want to thank them as well. They understand the importance of literacy in the home and service in the community. We're already looking forward to 2024, which will be our 20th year, and we're looking forward to continued support from the high school and also support from the students. Thank you very much.
Our third topic is a special election. Leticia Maldonado Stamos.
The 60-some-odd people who were required to sign a petition to hold a special election for District 1 trustee, and thereby managing to bring a major cost to this district at the expense of our high school students, should frankly be ashamed of themselves. But of course, they are not, and in fact, they are crowing. If they had to foot the bill of the election in order to push their personal agendas forward, I can guarantee you that they would not have done this. They have no skin in the game, so sure, let's put the expense on the backs of our students, the vast majority who do not live in District 1. So these parents of maybe 60 students out of the thousands of Fallbrook High School students are delighted at what they are calling their victory, of which they bear no obligation to fund, and worse, are costing the district money that we can ill afford. But make no mistake, the education and well-being of all of the students of Fallbrook High School are not the concern of these people. The $100,000 to $200,000 it's going to cost is going to affect every program, the band, the color guard, the video, you name it. Their lack of appreciation alone should tell everyone in Fallbrook, and especially in District 1, that these people are not interested in the best interest of education of our children, but instead are only interested in looking to push their personal and political agenda forward. And they are most definitely fighting freedom, everyone else's freedom. The Village News printed article upon article about how these parents wanted this election. Shame on the Village News as well. That shoddy reporting is a disgrace. They knew that only some parents of a few students They didn't mention how their actions and this election would adversely affect all the district. This business is an irresponsible sham, pretending to be a legitimate community-minded entity, as is every single person pushing this agenda. There is no concern for the community as a whole, for the student body, for the future of Fallbrook, only their agenda. As I've said before, Fallbrook is a community that leans conservatively, but not hatefully or to the extreme. I know that you as board members are not in a position to do anything about it, but I'm here to speak because these people do not speak for the majority of the families of the students, nor for the best interests of this community as a whole. These freedom fighters are fighting against everyone else's freedom, especially our students and their families, and that needs to go on public record. Thank you.
The next speaker is KB Gressett on Public Comment Policy 1312.2.
Close enough? Good, okay. Thanks for the opportunity to address the board this evening. First, I will be sharing with you another FOIA request for copies of book challenges and your responses. These requests are an annoying exercise for all of us, but I'm forced to repeat them until you make the challenge and review process transparent to the public. This will allow community input before a decision is made. Otherwise, per district policy, the community must wait a full year to request reconsideration of a withdrawn text. Next, I'm a Fallbrook resident since 1990, a former Fallbrook High parent, and I volunteer at Vallecito School in Rainbow to teach 8th graders critical thinking and writing to prep them for your school. I also teach at Cal State San Marcos. In each of these capacities, I know members of the LGBTQ+ community, all of whom have been challenged by other people's ignorance, bias, fear, and consequent harmful misunderstanding. On the other hand, all of them have benefited from and been comforted by the acceptance and love of allies and by truthful representations of themselves in books, films, and other popular media. To remove such opportunities for acceptance is harmful to them and their allies. In fact, to remove any book from a school's collection in order to satisfy a minority is to harm members of the majority. The Washington Post published an interesting op-ed piece on April 10 entitled "The Parents' Rights Movement Keeps Ducking Parental Responsibilities." This avoidance of parental responsibility is happening right here at Fallbrook High. To paraphrase the column's author, parents who attempt to ban books and teaching materials they don't like depict themselves and their children as victims of teachers and librarians. These parents also depict themselves as heroes out to save the entire student body from over-sexualization, pedophilia, pornography, and LGBTQ indoctrination. I quote them. But this minority of parents does not reflect the entire school community. There is no law, no policy, no consensus that such parents have the authority to dictate to the rest of the community what books and materials are available to all students. To again paraphrase the column, while these small groups of parents demand the right to dictate to the rest of us, they actually appear to wish to do less parenting. Rather than teach their own children what books they should not read, these parents want to hand off that parenting task to school administrators and force the entire school community to be subject to their minority ideology. This is not fair to students, to teachers, librarians, the administrators, or the vast majority of the community. Please develop a book challenge process that is transparent, that is well-informed, that does not allow a vocal minority to rule the majority, and that responds compassionately to the challenging and wildly diverse experiences of all our students. Thank you.
And finally, Kathy Lambert, revisions.
I follow on the ideas of these two ladies, as I'm one in belief with them. But something that people haven't talked about that I think we need to address one way or another is that there is a group of people that's being ignored when people talk about Black rights and Asian rights and people's rights and women's rights and parent rights, which is a hot topic. No one talks about student rights. And the students in this school, as well as every other school in the nation, have a right to read what they want, when they want, and where they want. And the American Library Association has written a lot on the subject of book censorship, as you might imagine, because they are facing the same onslaught that we are. And it is not just a single locality or a certain group of books, it's a nationwide press to undermine what should be really in the best interest of the kids, the students, whether they're elementary, high school, or college. The ALA said, by the way, I don't know what sort of revisions have been made, but they have a wonderful couple of articles on revising policies for just such things, acquisition of books, challenging books, etc. And one of the big takeaways for me was where they said, when or if, and I'm going to say when for this group, when a book is challenged, the attention of defense should not be in defending the book. It should be in defending the student's right to read, because censorship is guaranteed for virtually every topic except for obscenity, pornography, pedophilia, and the things that this group waves in their little pom-poms. And I think we have not paid attention to students' rights. They are here, we just sort of, think they're cute or they're annoying, depending on the day. And I think that the ACLU can clarify this quite a bit. I had a son who was here in 83, I think, and we had a considerable bit of interaction with the ACLU and the school board at that time, and it was all about students' rights. And it's very sad that here we go again, 30, 40, I don't know, he's 55, so a long time ago. So I ask that that be a presence that you need to discuss before you worry about any book and what it's about and what the people are doing. Students have rights, they have a lot of them.
There are no more public verbal comments.
Thank you, everybody, for sharing, and we appreciate your input. Communications and reports. We'll start with our student representative. Are you ready? No problem.
Our first progress report for the third trimester ended this Friday. We had 5 more seniors graduate, and we welcomed 5 more juniors today at Ivy High School. Congratulations to Antonia Magana Nunez for being our Student of the Month for April. Well deserved, Antonia. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you. Our principals are next. Looks like Mr. Gray is going to go first.
Nice job, Meilani. I'll miss having you here at these board meetings. I think we have a couple more of those. Yeah. I just have a couple of things. We started off testing CASP at Oasis this morning. It was wonderful. All the kids showed up that needed to be there, most of them. We'll finish up Oasis this week and Ivy. And Ivy we start tomorrow, and we'll go over the next 2 weeks in testing. But the highlight of the day was this morning at 8:30. We had 32 of our seniors at Ivy get on a bus and go for a Palomar tour. So we are hoping maybe if we can just get a couple, 2 or 3 more to go down that road of educating themselves post-secondary, whatever that means. We're just hoping that's going to work. The feedback I got from the students was it was pretty cool. They got to see a lot of things or introduced to some different ideas for them post-Ivy. So we were very, very happy to see that this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. And Ms. Jones?
Not that it's a contest, but I too have sent students to Palomar College twice now. No, we've been excited to be able to have our students go and check out the program that's there. And then we actually got to visit Dr. Luna and Ms. Toon and I, our Fallbrook Education Center this afternoon, which was great to see. So just a few things happening right now. Today we kicked off our CASP state testing with our juniors. Our seniors will test in science as well on Friday of this week. Great, very smooth, knock on wood, first day for us in terms of students getting to the right places and proctoring and things like that. Our testing coordinator, Megan Wiblemo, who was here receiving an honor, I think last board meeting or 2 board meetings ago, she does a wonderful job of coordinating everything there. So we expected it to go smoothly, but I know she was relieved this morning just at how smoothly it had gone. So that rolls us into AP and IB testing, actually, so we'll test this week for CASP, and then we have a week break where we try to make sure that we've touched base with all of our students who might have missed any testing this week, and then AP and IB testing rolls out May 1st, so immediately when we hit the new month. I did also want to highlight, since we were celebrating Lupita today, we had a talent show on Friday evening here, featuring several students who are in Ms. Stark's class. Lupita was definitely the star of the show. She was at the front of all the choreography, did a great job, so it was wonderful to see. Next week, we're hosting on Tuesday evening, the 25th, Future Warrior Night, where we're welcoming all of our incoming 9th graders directly from our feeder schools, and then any other students who are transferring in are also welcome to attend. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. here on campus. A few things happening. We have our PTSA is excited to share on a parent panel. So we'll have both an English and a Spanish parent panel where they'll talk a little bit about things that they have found helpful as parents to high school students in just navigating 9th through 12th grade, navigating the entry from 8th grade into 9th grade, and then just ways to get involved as a parent, as well as how to encourage your student to get involved on campus. So we're excited for that piece. We will have some student perspectives also reflected, so things, especially from our seniors, things they wish they had known when they came into 9th grade. We're up to, I think, just shy of 30 clubs and activities on campus that will also be present to share with families kind of what's available extracurricularly, clubs students get involved in, athletics, etc. And then some student-led tours. And additionally, some of our counseling staff is going to be available to walk parents through four-year planning. What does it mean to be A to G? Why do I want to be A to G? What the process is like 9th through 12th grade in terms of planning for that success once students leave Fallbrook High School. So we are excited to offer that next week. We have asked parents and families to RSVP just to give us kind of a rough estimate, and I think in the first about 20 minutes after it went out, we were up to 30 RSVPs, so we're feeling excited to welcome hopefully a good sized group of people in. That is kind of the biggies for us. It's the biggest time of year, I think, when we're looking at just state testing, and then for a lot of our students who've taken an AP/IB class and are looking to get that college credit, rolling into that in May, and then I feel like in about 30 seconds will be graduation, so that's where we are. Any questions or?
30 seconds after graduation, you'll be starting the next school year.
We've already, I know, I already erased half of my planning calendar in my office because stuff kept coming up and it was further down the calendar than I had available. So yes, definitely. You breathe for about 30 seconds and then we're into 23, 24, so.
Thank you. Thanks for everything you're doing, hearing really good things. I also want to thank you for your newsletter, your weekly update that you put out. It's a really wonderful tool to help keep the parents in the loop on some of those deadlines and things. I think that's a really good job, and it's filling a gap that we've had. I know when my kids went here, I would ask my kids, and they're like, I don't know. So if you could have been here and done that earlier, that would have been great. Anyway, thank you for everything you're doing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on what both board members mentioned. I want to knock on wood, and everything's going. I've come to the campus multiple times. I've done several site visits in the afternoon, in the morning, during lunch, and it's just really great to see a lot of the activities going on at Ivy and at Fallbrook High School. I think for a long time we finally are getting things rolling in a positive direction. I know that I mentioned it in the past. There was a constant turnover of administrators, of superintendents, of directors in the past, which left a lot of instability. Now, we're not seeing that, and I think us as a board, we should continue to support y'all and, parents, community members, because you're doing a fantastic job. Both of you are doing a fantastic job, and I just want to say thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you. I should have mentioned also that we had the opportunity to be at May Ellis the Friday before the break, so we got to trade places where I got to see Mr. Carlampio in his element at his school site as well, which was great. So appreciate you inviting us and your team there as well, showcasing what's happening for our little ones before they become our students. So thank you.
Okay, update from our board members. Mr. Carlampio, would you like to go first?
Yes. As I just mentioned, I have come to campus multiple times. I have many relatives that come to Fallbrook High School. So, I'm here often. I just want to state that it's great to see that the campus is a lot cleaner. I know that our departments are working really hard to clean up our hallways, clean up our agriculture areas, and just seeing a cleaner campus, I know that gives more pride for everybody else. So kudos to them for the work that they do. Fallbrook Aleer, I was there. It was held at Mayeles. My daughter was one of the dance performers, 5-year-old with her indigenous outfit. It was really cute. And, it was just really great to see the community, showing up, having multiple booths, and, just sharing books to our kids in honor of Cesar Chavez, a day of service, a day of learning. We also attended the fire symposium. It was really cool seeing so many different agencies coming into Fallbrook High School. I think that's a vision that I would like to see more, and I'd like to see that it worked really well, because we had so many departments in Fallbrook or North County and San Diego who came to the high school, shared life-saving information with all the community members, and it was great to see that we were using our school to promote just community empowerment. Again, the fire department, the sheriffs were there, the water district, so many different agencies, and then they shared life-saving information. So that was really great. I want to state as well, the Friday letters are amazing. Mrs. Jones, I read them, and I always call my niece. I'm like, hey, you have CAPS testing next week, right? And she goes, no, I don't. And I'm like, well, you do. So make sure you go to sleep, and make sure you don't miss class. So then, again, so many relatives here in Fallbrook that I, text them, call them, and they can't lie to me. So it's really cool. Lastly, yeah, that's it. That's all I have done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, a couple things. Just kind of want to talk briefly about the Jim Dooley and his appointment, and then kind of sudden departure. And I just want to say that Mr. Dooley is really an outstanding community member, and he is and would have been an excellent board member. And I appreciate he's been to, though he only sat up here with us once, he was at many board meetings, getting as informed as possible. And just want to say how much I appreciate him, and sorry that worked out like it did, but we understand, and we'll work through the next steps. Yes, thank you, Oscar, for bringing it up. The Wildland Symposium was a couple, 5-6 weeks ago now. It was a really wonderful opportunity for the fire department, as well as all the other community partners, to talk about something that's important to this community a lot. And I really want to thank our superintendent for putting the high school as a place where we were able to host it, and using our beautiful library for that important event. It was so much better than our original plan. I'll just say that. We had a smaller venue that was not nearly as good. So thank you very much for all your effort. If anybody didn't catch that, we also wanted to make sure that information was available to the people that couldn't be there on that day. So we were again able to use the talents of Mr. George Herring, who we saw earlier, and his students, and they were able to put together a very excellent video that summarized all the talking points on that. which is on the YouTube site of North County Fire Protection District, if you can find that without too much trouble. So thank you to that, and again, thank you to Mr. Herring and especially his students. I was able to participate and observe some of our admin in our facility master's plan, kind of the kickoff meetings, and I just want to say how excited I am about that process. A lot of really talented people talking and working together on what's going to be a plan to help us improve our school and take it to the next level. So want to thank everybody for their participation. I'm really looking forward to that. Oscar mentioned the reading group that Leticia Stamos that we heard of from earlier. I was able to attend that, and Leticia really did an outstanding job organizing a very, very impressive cultural event. I had a wonderful time there, and it was very well attended. So thank you to her for doing that. Very last thing, I'm proud to announce that I was appointed to the California School Board Associations as a delegate. So I'm going to be representing the North County, well, the whole region, Region 17, as a delegate to CSBA, going up to Sacramento and a couple other places to make sure that our voice and our needs for schools like ours, our size, are getting represented. So happy to do that. With that, Mr. Christensen.
Thank you. We got a pretty long board meeting coming up on the agenda, but just to reiterate what Oscar was saying, the smoothness, the overall facilities has nothing to do with us. I mean, I'm a new board member. I didn't vote for any of this stuff. I didn't push for anything in the school in the last years other than being a parent and a community member. Everything that develops from the school is because of you guys. It starts from you guys, goes to the teachers, straight down to the students and parents. It's a collaboration, and I appreciate that from a family that grew up spending most of my younger days sitting in my dad's classroom waiting for him to finish grading or meeting with parents. It starts with the principals, the superintendents, the vice principals, the counselors. It truly is a community that makes it happen. So I give you guys all the credit, and I appreciate you and what you're doing on the campuses. So thank you for all that you guys do. And lastly, I just want to say, when I went to high school here, sports were great, but we only had a few sports that were kind of the standard issue sports. We didn't have rugby, we didn't have lacrosse, and I'll leave it at that. But there were not as many sports as there are now. Ivy was nowhere near what it is today. So as my nephews come up through the high school and I hear about them playing lacrosse or rugby and seeing how it's developed over the years and become pretty big, different sports, not just rugby and lacrosse, but a lot of the sporting, even the band, the amount of traveling and stuff that they do is pretty incredible. That was not something that was an option back when I was in high school. So seeing how well our community has reached out to all the students and all the things that they like to do is pretty incredible. That's it.
And that brings us to our superintendent.
Yes, so I'm going to repeat some of the things that you've already heard. I want to start off by congratulating President Eddie Jones for being appointed a California School Boards Association delegate for Region 17. I'm sure that his role as a delegate will serve to bring attention to the many challenges small rural districts face. Thank you, President Jones, for your service. The Wildfire Preparedness Symposium was held at Fallbrook High School on Saturday, March 25th. It was an honor to be a part of such an important community event focused on building community resilience. The event was spearheaded by North County Fire Protection District, and many other organizations participated. Our ROTC and film students had an active role in the event, and if you missed it, there was a lot of crucial information presented that you can access via the district and or North County Fire Protection District's YouTube channels. Even though it's mid-April, as Principal Jones stated, we are beginning to see many end-of-year activities on our calendars. Last week, FFA held its 89th annual awards program. The awards program was impressive, with students running the entire show. Many people are under the misconception that the ag program only teaches students how to raise farm animals and about horticulture, but it is a true leadership program that emphasizes not only the skills needed to be successful, but public speaking skills as well. I'd like to thank Mr. Doug Senior, Ms. Margaret Chapman, and Ms. Sabrina Stanwyck for their dedication to the students in the program. We've been very involved with our sister district, Fallbrook Union Elementary School District, participating in events with them such as Leadership Day and Girls in STEM. This Saturday, I had the honor of participating as a reader at Fallbrook Aleer. The event hosted at May Ellis Elementary highlighted the contributions made by Cesar Chavez and emphasized the importance of education and not giving up, as well as community service. Many of our students participated in the program, including our Danza Folklorica group. Next Tuesday, April 25th, is our Future Warrior Night. We invite all incoming students and their parents to join us to learn all about the wonderful programs and opportunities that Fallbrook Union High School District has to offer. Finally, last week, we were notified by the County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Paul Gothold, that on February 13th, 2023, the San Diego County Office of Education received a petition for special election in Trustee Area 1 to fill the vacancy on the governing board of the Fallbrook Union High School District pursuant to Education Code 5091. Following the verification on all petition requirements, including certification of the requisite number of signatures, 62, by the Registrar of Voters, the petition was determined to be legally sufficient. As required by Education Code 5091 C2, the provisional appointment of Mr. James Dooley was automatically terminated. Upon the information becoming public, we received many questions from concerned community members. At this time, we do not know the specific date of the special election. We understand that a special election must be held between 88 and 125 days from the order date, but the order date has not been determined. There are other stipulations that could allow for 180 days if there is a general election scheduled within that time frame. We will update the community via our website and through board meetings when we are notified of the date of the election. Another frequent question is the cost of the special election. The estimated cost is between $100,000 and $225,000. The district will be responsible for funding the special election without any reimbursement from the county or the state. We will work with the San Diego County Office of Education and the San Diego County Registrar of Voters to establish a fair and cost-efficient election. I want to thank the community for their patience as we navigate through this. Again, we will share any information we receive with our school community as soon as we receive it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Agenda item number 1, this is from Superintendent Human Resources. This is an information item, revised, new, and deleted board policies. Ms. Gonzalez, can you explain this?
Yes, these are the ongoing reviews and updates that are necessary with board policies and administrative regulations. The review enables the district to ensure that the policies, regulations, exhibits, and bylaws conform to state and federal law. The revised, new, and deleted board policies, administrative regulations, and exhibits presented are informational items for first reading and will be placed on the next agenda for action.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, number 2 is an action item. This is resolution number 12-2223, Day of the Teacher.
I move that the board adopt resolution number 122223, which declares May 2nd, 2023 as the Day of the Teacher as presented.
I'll second.
Moved by Mr. Carlampio, second by Mr. Christensen. Any discussions? Any questions? Call for the vote. Student representatives are no longer here. Mr. Carlampio, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant and Area 2 is vacant. Thank you. Action item number 3 is another resolution, number 13-2223, Classified Employee Week 2023.
I move that the board adopt Board Resolution Number 132223, recognizing May 21st, 22nd, 27th, 2023 as Classified Employee Week 2023 as presented.
I'll go ahead and second. Any questions or discussion? Student representatives are not here. Mr. Carlampia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant and Area 2 is vacant. Agenda number 4, this is also an action item, Resolution 14-2223, School Lunch Hero Day.
I'll move to the action of resolution number 14-2223, School Lunch Hero Day.
I second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Board representatives aren't here. Any discussions or questions? Ms. Carlampia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant and Area 2 is vacant. Agenda item number 5 is an action item. Approve the revised agreement between the Fallbrook Union High School District and Service Employee International Union Local 221.
I'll go ahead and move for the approval of the revised agreement between the Union High School District and the Service Employee International Union Local 221.
I second.
Thank you. Moved by Mr. Christensen, second by Mr. Carlampio. Ms. Garza-Gonzalez, can you provide us some background on this, please?
Yes. The district honored the Me Too clause with SEIU regarding compensation and health and welfare benefits for the 2022-2023 school year, and the Board of Trustees approved the benefits and salary increases at the November 7th, 2022 board meeting. On February 14th, 2023, the district and union completed negotiations with additional agreements for Article 14, Section 4, workout classification, Article 14, Section 5, new section, summer school assignment, Article 14, Section 8, unit members who substitute, and Article 17, Section 10, new section, classified school employee summer assistance program. There is no direct alignment with the LCAP, and the superintendent recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the revised agreement between the Fallbrook Union High School District and the Service Employees International Union Local 221 as presented.
Any questions or discussion? Call for the vote. Student representatives are not present. Mr. Carlampio?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. I also say aye. Area 1 is vacant. Area 2 is vacant. Motion passes. Number 6 is an action item. This is Resolution 15-2223, appointment of these citizens oversight committee members and restate bylaws thereof. So we need an action here, and are we actually appointing names in our motion? Is that correct?
Ms. Hatcher?
You can make the motion first, and then once you start discussing, you can do the vote.
Okay. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we appoint citizens to our Citizens Oversight Committee according to Resolution 15-2223.
I second.
All right, Jones and Carlampio. Ms. Garza, can you provide us some information on this?
Yes, so in order to modernize and upgrade Fallbrook High School, Measure AA was approved by the Fallbrook voters November 8, 2016. One of the requirements of this bond measure is the Citizens Oversight Committee, who is charged with making sure that taxpayer money is spent in accordance with voter-approved projects. The COC is a representative body composed of individuals from different segments of the community. A Citizens Oversight Committee was previously established as required by the authorization and state law, and now intends to confirm appointment of certain members to the committee to fill vacant positions. In connection with such appointments, the board also will adopt the restated bylaws of the committee. There are no financial implications, and there is no direct alignment to the LCAP. We have 4 vacancies, and we have 4 applicants to participate in the Citizens Oversight Committee.
Okay, and then we need to just classify them into the correct category, because the Citizens Oversight Committee is a combination of at-large and parents and business owners, things, correct?
Yes, so at this time, the vacancies are for a business organization member, a PTA member, parent or guardian member, and at-large member.
Can we start voting?
Can I
or
borrow that?
nominate?
So, what I'd like to do is just modify my motion to appoint all four of these. I would like Ms. Garland to be appointed as parent. I would like Eva Hawkins to be appointed as the PTA member. I would like Donald Lucy to be appointed as the business organizational member, and Karen Weisberger to be appointed as the at-large person. If that's okay with everybody, we could just take a vote to modify the motion, or we can discuss further. Okay, so we're going to take a quick vote to modify the motion to those names, like I said. Ms. Carlampio, to modify the motion, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Jones says aye.
Aye.
Okay, and now we will vote on the actual motion itself. Mr. Carlampio, how do you vote?
So just Donald Lucy, business.
Donald
Hawkins.
Lucy will be our business representative, Eva Hawkins, our PTA member, Jacqueline Garland, our parent, and Karen Weisberger, our at-large person. How do you vote?
Aye.
I vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did you keep up with all that? We good? Thank you very much. And Area 1 is vacant and Area 2 is vacant. So congratulations and thank you to those citizens for their help. Number 7, action item. Declaration of need for fully qualified educators.
I move that the board approve the 2023-2024 Declaration of Need for Fully Qualified Educators as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Carlampio, second by Mr. Christensen. Any discussion or questions?
This is to give the district permission to hire educators who have emergency credentials.
Yes, school districts must file a declaration of need with the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing. The document gives an estimate of the number of emergency permits, limited assignments, and internship credentials that may be needed in the upcoming school year. So yes, for emergency permits as well as for limited assignment and interns.
Awesome. I actually got my first teaching job under emergency credentials because I was just finishing up the program. So definitely, support this.
I did the same.
Well, you both changed my mind. I was going to vote against it. Any other discussion? Mr. Carlampio, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant. Area 2 is vacant. Student representatives are not present. Number 8, new course. This is an action item. New course on financial algebra.
I move that the board approve in the first reading the new course financial algebra as presented.
I'll second.
All right. First and second by Mr. Carlampio and Mr. Christensen. Ms. Toon, can you provide us with some background on this, please?
Good evening, members of the board. Financial algebra is actually a course that comes with our APEX curriculum, and that's an online curriculum that's utilized by all 3 campuses. This specific course is being brought to you for Ivy and Oasis. They are both looking for some additional elective opportunities And this financial algebra course is highly effective for both of those schools. Apex is now being called Edmentum, and so the course description and syllabus that's attached is coming directly from Apex.
Are this course A through G or just a graduation requirement?
It would be for a G elective credit.
Cool. Is there any way you can get this to the high school?
Into the Fallbrook High School. We are having some conversations about financial algebra for Fallbrook High School. We're just looking at what's going to be the most effective for our students. We've added a 3-year math requirement for our students, and we've done a lot of work around standards alignment. So we really like the course. The real question is just how we want to implement the course and how it's going to be the most effective for our students so that they meet the standards.
Yeah, or even if it's in the Saturday Academy, because I know that in the past, several community members had wanted us to show or to have classes with more financial leadership. When I was reading this, I was pretty excited about the units that are, being taught. Just for example, checkings and savings, income tax, cost of living and budget, purchasing and credit, loans and payments, car ownership, home ownership, investments, business. I mean, even myself as a homeowner who just filed for taxes, I could have used some of this information.
It's a good point, and it's complicated math. That's part of the reason we're looking at it as elective credit. A lot of schools that we've researched actually have Math 3 as a prerequisite for financial algebra. We also have a financial literacy class that I know is utilized through Apex at Ivy and Oasis as well.
Well, I'm glad that, to have this as an offering right now is, part of our district. If we can make it bigger, I know, I know you'll know what to do with it. So I'm excited for this.
Sorry, quick question. Do you have an idea of how many Ivy Oasis, because it's a difficult math class and you need Math 3 as a prereq, what does the enrollment look like?
So for Oasis, because we have smaller numbers at Ivy and Oasis, it's really, Oasis you'll have some more students who take advantage of the course than Ivy necessarily, but we do have the availability of the course at Ivy, and then we also have the financial literacy offered as an elective at Ivy as well. So I couldn't tell you the numbers off the top of my head. I did some data on our integrated Math 3, and I think about 90% of our Oasis students have taken integrated Math 3, and they've had a pretty high success rate. So it is a good option for a lot of our Oasis students. They would have taken the math necessary to take the course.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, call for the vote. Our students are not present. Mr. Carlampio?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant. Area 2 is vacant. That motion passes. Thank you. Number 9 is also an action item. This is also a new course, Intros to Sustainable Agriculture Technology.
I move that the board approve in the first reading the new course, Intro to Sustainable Agricultural Biology as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Carlampio, Mr. Christensen for first and second. Ms. Toon?
So this is actually an intro course. We have a really wonderful ag bio course that we offer, and it does give students their A to G credit. And one of the things that we've heard from our teachers is because they are meeting the standards required by all the other biology classes, there's not always enough time to infuse some of that agricultural aspect into the course. And as we're moving to the trimester system is formatted differently in terms of the instructional minutes, and in a CTE pathway, you have to meet 300 hours. And so what we've done when looking at all of our CTE courses is where we're going to meet those hour requirements. So for our pathway in Ag Bio and then on to Ag Chem, this actually adds and allows them some time to meet those instructional aspects that they feel like they haven't been able to meet in the past. And simultaneously is allowing us to meet those CTE hour requirements.
What is the class involved? Like, what are they going through during the class?
So this is an intro course. They would be looking specifically at the elements of ag in terms of front-loading students for bio. So they are going to have the opportunity to look at things. I know the teachers have talked to me. I don't have it right in front of me, so I apologize. But the teachers have talked to me, for example, about wanting to really dig into soil. And so they do, touch on some of those curricular aspects, but they want to be able to dig more specifically into how those aspects of biology then are implemented for agriculture. And one of the things coming to my mind, for example, is the soil component.
So I was an ag business major, but living in Fallbrook, this seems like the perfect opportunity to get out, field trips and seeing different agricultural lands, different grow patterns, things like that. So I think this opens the door up for a lot more opportunity.
Trustee Christensen, to answer your question, the course is designed to give students a strong foundation in various areas of agricultural sciences. Course content will include an introduction to animal and plant sciences, agriculture mechanics, and scientific method. Leadership training will include public speaking, parliamentary procedure debate, career development events, supervised agricultural experience projects, record-keeping skills, and career opportunities in agriculture will be covered. Students will have the opportunity to gain field experience through the development of a supervised occupational experience as a vehicle for developing leadership skills. Students will be exposed to the FFA and its many opportunities.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Okay, students aren't here. Thank you. We'll call for the vote. Ms. Carlampio?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant. Area 2 is vacant. That passes 3-0. Business services. Number 10 is an action item, Resolution 16-2223, resolution of intent to dedicate an easement to the FPUD Fallbrook Public Utility District at Fallbrook High School. Action item, I'll need a motion, please.
I'll go ahead and motion for the resolution number 16-2223, resolution of intent to dedicate an easement to the Fallbrook Public Utility District at Fallbrook High School.
I second.
Thank you, Mr. Christensen and Mr. Carlampio. Ms. Mefford, can you explain this?
Yes, we are asking the board to approve the resolution for an easement to the Fallbrook Public Utilities District. The easement is necessary as a result of the new fire hydrant and the new backflow preventer that is required due to California Fire Code for our new construction, where we are modernizing the 400 buildings and building the new CTE building.
Question for you. Does this, so we went through a solar project. It created some issues due to the easement that we previously had. Does this easement create any boundaries or issues with the ongoing solar project?
No, it does not.
And I believe access to this is off the south side of the school, over kind of from Auto Shop north, is that correct?
Yes, after Winter Haven, through that back way auto shop, yes.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, call for the vote. Student representatives are not here. Mr. Carlampio?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant. Area 2 is vacant. Passes. Number 11 is another action item. Recommendation to approve educational specifications for Ivy High School.
I move that the board approve the recommendation to approve educational specifications for Ivy High School.
Thank you, Mr. Carlampio. Jones will second that. Ms. Mefford again?
Yes, working with our state funding consultant, we have found there's an opportunity to seek reimbursement for the Ivy project that was completed back in 2014, where we replaced the campus with new portables. But part of CDE's requirement is that we have educational specifications for the campus that are board approved. And when that project was completed, those specifications were not approved. So we are bringing them tonight to ask that they be approved so that we can ask for facility reimbursement up to $1 million. The project back in 2014 was $1.7 million, and we used developer fees. The majority of that project was paid with developer fees for that.
Just a question, does that reimbursement money come back to a general fund? Is it obligated to be used specifically on facilities or directed for general use?
Since we already built the project, that would come back to the general fund, but we would more than likely be using it for facilities because we have significant facility needs.
Who caught that?
The consultant that he goes through looking for anything that we can ask for reimbursement from the state for. And so he was reviewing the bid documents, everything from the project, and just noticed that we didn't have the educational specifications approved.
Good eye. That's potentially $1 million in reimbursement is amazing.
All right, any other questions? All right, our board representatives are not here. Mr. Carlampio, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant, and Area 2 is vacant. Passes 3-0. Number 12 is an action item. Approve negotiations with Erickson Hall Construction Company as the selected leaseback contractor for the CTE project at the Fallbrook High School.
I'll motion for the approved negotiations with Erickson Hall Construction Company as the selected leaseback contractor for the CTE project at Fallbrook High School.
Second.
Mr. Christensen and Ms. Carlampio, first and second, thank you. Ms. Mefford?
Yes, so our CTE new building and our 400 modernization project, this is for the leaseback contractor. And so we did a mandatory job walk where 16 firms showed up, and surprisingly, only 2 ended up actually submitting an RFP. And so Erickson Hall Construction is the firm that we've decided to bring to the board for approval. We don't have a price yet. Normally at the same time we would ask, they would submit a GMP. Because our budget and their price were a little different, we're trying to negotiate with them. Everything in construction has gone up, and all of our unforeseen conditions, I know I sound like a broken record with my unforeseen conditions, but we're running into a lot of those, and our bond funds are diminishing. So before we have a GMP, once we have approved that Erickson Hall is going to be the leaseback firm, we are going to then enter into negotiations, look at the scope of work, see where we can do some value engineering, and hopefully get the best cost for the project that we need.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Brenda. Ms. Carlampio, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant, Area 2 is vacant, and our student representatives are not here. Consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the Board of Trustees to be routine and will be enacted by one action. There is usually no discussion of these items prior to the time the Board of Trustees votes on the motion unless members of the board request specific items to be discussed or deleted from the consent agenda. So that brings us to 13 is an action item to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Thank you, Mr. Christensen and Ms. Carlampio. Any discussion or questions? All right, call for the vote.
Yeah, I just, on the consent agenda for field trips, which one's that? I'm sorry, I had it on I had it written down somewhere.
For field trips?
Yeah, reimbursement of field trips.
Number 34?
34, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I graduated from Fallbrook High several years ago, but when I was looking at the list of field trips, I thought it was really cool that we're sending a lot of students to conferences and different events. I know that, you know, when I was talking to some students, they really enjoy going out and, you know, participating in these events where they can learn from other speakers, learn from other students who present information in a certain way. FFA has done a lot of this, the band as well, and you know, this is something that I definitely would love to keep on, you know, providing funds for, because they're able to travel, stay in hotels, be supervised, of course, and then just meet and grow their network with other folks, and I think that's a really, really neat opportunity.
Thank you, and I'd like to point out that the only field trips that come to the board for approval in the consent agenda are overnight field trips. So there are many, many more field trips that do take place, like you've heard today, to Palomar, et cetera, but those don't come before the board.
Yeah, but again, it's neat that we're sending kids to grow their global awareness and network with different schools, different instructors, and just looking at different presentations and how, you know, they're executed. I think, yeah, I think we need more of that, and I think a lot to our educators, our chaperones who go to those meetings, because those are usually weekend trips, and instead of spending some time with their family members, they're taking on this task in order to take one or two kids across, you know, states in order to showcase their work. So to all of our teachers or admins and anyone who has an admin credential and goes on these trips, thank you, because it wouldn't be possible without them. There's no way we're going to send kids on their own. So just thank you for your commitment. It's a lot of work.
Thank you, Oscar. Any other questions on the consent agenda or discussion? All right, call for the vote. Our student representatives are not here. Mr. Carlampia, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant. Area 2 is vacant. Consent agenda passes. And that brings us to we're going to be going to closed session, so I'm going to be announcing the agenda for that. Topics could include public employee discipline, dismissal, and release, government section code 54957, conference with legal counsel pending litigation, government section code 54956.9 D1, conference with legal counsel anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to government section code 54956.9 D2, conference with labor negotiators, government section code 54957.6, district negotiator Ilza Garza Gonzalez, superintendent, employee organization, FHSTA and SEIU, and unrepresented employees, classified management, certificated management, and confidential employees. E would be student expulsion case number 04F2223, and the last one would be settlement agreement 2023-19A. Opportunity for members of the public to address the board on any items discussed in this closed session agenda will be taken now, and then of course we've already had an opportunity on the other ones earlier. And that's government section code 54954.3. Is there any public comment on these?
No.
All right, we're going to adjourn to closed session at 7:49.
Dr. Luna and Dr. Beam, if you could join us. guys can't.
Okay, welcome back. We're reconvening from closed session at 8:24. Report from closed session. Public employee dismissal and release, government section code 54957, nothing to report. Conference with legal counsel pending litigation, government section code 54956.9D1, nothing to report. Conference with legal counsel anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to government section code 54956.9D2, nothing to report. Conference with labor negotiators, government section code 54957.6, district negotiator Ilza Garza Gonzalez, superintendent. Employer organizations, FHSTA and SEIU, unrepresented employees, classified management, certificated management, and confidential employees, nothing to report. Student expulsion case number 04F2223, nothing to report at this time. We'll be addressing this in a later item in this meeting. And finally, settlement agreement 2023-19A. In a vote of 3-0, the board approved settlement agreement number 202319A. Okay, next item, or the last item, is going to be educational services as an action item, and this has to do with the student expulsion.
I move that the board approve the student expulsion case number 04F2223 as presented in closed session.
Thank you, Mr.
I'll second.
Carlampio. And Mr. Christensen, thank you. Mr. Carlampio, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Jones says aye. Area 1 is vacant. Area 2 is vacant. Organizational matters. This is the appropriate place in the agenda for members of the board to request as the superintendent provide further information regarding items discussed in this meeting and or to request that new items of business be placed on future agendas. Are there any organizational matters?
Yeah, I have one. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend the May 10th meeting due to plans we had over a year ago. It wouldn't have been an issue if we had 5 board members, 4, but because we have 3, I have to make that request because I will not be available from May 10th to May 19th. Again, due to annual things that we have scheduled a year ago. So May 10th to May 19th, I'll be unavailable.
So May 10th was our regularly scheduled board meeting, and again, because of the situation that we find ourselves in with only 3 board members seated at this time, anytime one of you can't attend, we don't have a quorum and can't move forward with a meeting. Thank you for bringing it up at this time where we still have time to reschedule and notify the public. May is a difficult month, which is why for May it was the 2nd Wednesday and not the 3rd, because the PAC is pretty much booked for a lot of different events.
Could we use
May, is everybody available May 22nd? That would be a Monday. It was an original board meeting from the last calendar.
22nd works for me, yes.
And I know that the PAC is available at that time.
I think it'll work for me. So that's the CSBA delegate in Sacramento. And I believe what I heard today is that that will be out at about 12:30 on the 21st. Yes, I should be able to make 22nd.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, we need a confirmation though that it's for sure because because of your numbers, we have to have a quorum. And the rest of the month is very tight, as Mrs. Garza Gonzalez has stated, because of end of the year functions. We've got award assemblies, we've got a lot of things, so we're squeezing everything in.
So at this time, what I'm hearing is that Monday, May 22nd worked for everyone.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
We'll move it to the 22nd.
Okay, and that would be a regular start time of 4:30 for closed session.
Yes, that makes sense.
Thank you.
Okay, any other organizational matters? All right, thank you. Date and time of the next meeting. Okay, as we just discussed, our next meeting is now on May 22nd, 4:30 for closed session here at the Bob Burton Performing Arts Center. Regular session is going to be at 5:30. All right. Adjournment. There being no further business to come before the board, the regular board meeting of April 17th, 2023 is adjourned at 8:30 by President Jones.